Hey, everyone. It is our weekly TruWest Realty meeting. It's May 7th. We are going to cover a few topics. We'll talk a little bit about solar panels. You guys all love solar panels, selling real estate, I'm sure. I did a really good interview with a buddy of mine that's pretty heavy in solar panels. I posted it. I don't know if I posted on our workplace chat, but I've got it on my YouTube channel and it came out. She had a challenge with the main camera. She forgot to turn it on or something. It just didn't turn on. So it's looking up the side of us, the whole time. But it works for most of it, but you want to have like the panoramic view as well. So it's not just us looking at our face. Where did I put that? There. Let's pop it open real quick. Mama, have you had a chance to look at it yet?
Yeah, it's really good. I liked it.
I thought it went pretty well.
Yeah, very informative.
The tax credit, and she still had let's just say a $30,000 payoff. She was willing.
This is a good one. This is when you have the seller that just puts a solar panel on their house, gets the tax credit, and now they want to sell their property. Okay. Ever have that situation? I now have had it several times. This is Keenan responding. Keenan is moving a lot of property. He really works in real estate and real estate agents specifically. So he's got some really good input on it.
Accommodate their needs. But the first thing is, by what we're doing here, is make sure it's done before that even happens. Right. But if it does happen, then we're going to get an invoice for a detach and reset. And the roofer is going to re-roof it, and the solar company will put the solar system right back on. It's a matter of who's paying the invoice. So let's.
They're like, I don't want to take on the solar. I'll take the panels, but I don't want to. And it's just a direct line item that comes right off the selling side.
Yeah. And that it's all about how you present it. So,
all right, let's talk about that. Right. So what I know there's something, and you've offered.
What are they doing? Don't give me an ad.
Offered this to me. I had a house in Little Elm. We were trying to sell on my team, and her house was identical to the house next door. She had solar panels. She just put them on. And then she decided, you know what? I want to go ahead and list. I'm older. I don't need this big house. I'm ready to go ahead and sell. And we sold her the home originally. And then we find out when we were going to list it that she put solar panels on, and she got the benefit of the tax credit. And she still had let's just say a $30,000 payoff. She was willing to pay off the entire thing just to sell the property. And the equivalent home next door did not have solar panels. So we almost took that whole cost out and just said, apples to apples, we need to compete with them. So it's an immediate hit for her. What would you advise? And you mentioned this before. What would help you is if you had the documents when they bought it, you could review it and give better advice on how to appropriate and deal with the solar panels in this transaction, kind of like an audit. Yeah, I was thinking of kind of like that. So talk a little bit about you doing an audit for real estate agents that have solar panels and they're selling them, to try to demystify, right, some of the challenges they go.
Yeah, I think that right there would be your first step, is to find someone.
Oh, you don't get the answer. You got to watch the video. We don't have time to watch the video, but it was a good interview. I put him on the spot, ask those questions that we get all the time. I'm going to try to I think I'm going to pull some good stuff out of there and start bullet pointing and creating some blog posts out of it, because I think they're really good topics that we don't hear the other side. And I'll tell you, when I got into the beginning of the interview, when I was doing my own research, I could not find any negative articles regarding solar panels and real estate. All they all say is it appreciates the value, you make more money, and you save electricity. So whoever's controlling kind of how that content gets put out pushes out all the negative information when you're trying to research. I could not find good arguments against doing it. And I know as agents, we deal with the negative arguments all the time because buyers are not paying more for them. They're not paying more for the house because they have solar panels. So those are some of the things that we kind of work through and toss back and forth. One of the things, welcome you guys. Welcome to the meeting. I appreciate you guys jumping on. Anyone have anything they want to kind of put out there, thoughts or anything that's happening? I like to get some of your guys' feedback too on the things that we're talking about. You know, any of you run into solar panels? Any of you having problems with buyers or sellers right now? Nikki?
I've run into a few problems. There was one that had solar panels and the seller wanted to take the solar panels with them.
And they
So,
can. They can. There's no
yeah.
problem. Did the buyer really want them? Is that what the contention was?
The buyer didn't want them, first of all. Second of all, the buyer was like, well, if they take them with them, then my roof's going to be destroyed.
There is damage because they have to drill into the roof shingles and they can be replaced or adjusted or corrected. There are ways to kind of offset that too. But that's another challenge, right? You don't think about. You're like, well, great, he's taking them. I don't have to deal with them. I don't have to buy them. I don't have to do the lease. I don't have to do the purchase agreement that I never agreed to that was theirs. You don't have to deal with any of those things, but you still have left damage. It's a good point.
And then the other issue that I had on a
Hold
different
on.
house,
How did you get through it? What did y'all resolve?
he ended up not putting in an offer.
Gotcha. So you were on the buy side.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then another situation, I was on the buy side again, same buyer. The seller wanted the buyer to assume all the loans.
They
For
didn't
the
want to
solar
take it with
panels.
them. Yeah. Most of them won't take the solar panels because you install solar panels on a house. How many houses is that particular set of solar panels going to fit on? That's a really awkward thing. And the other side is the most common thing is they stay. Then you got to deal with the lease agreements and things like that. So what Keenan was offering is if you have the sell side primarily, then he's willing to come in and talk with the seller and give them kind of an exit strategy and plan on how to promote the product, how to promote the house. That Little Elm house is a house mom had, and she ended up canceling. I think she's ready to list again. Yes.
No, not moving out there.
Okay. She's still not gonna go list again.
It's the activity's not picking up out
Okay.
there.
I got
I
you.
mean,
Okay.
if she lists today, it'd only be like 5, 10. We're waiting for some other ones to sell to boost it back up.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
I mean,
maybe a year off now.
yeah, it would probably reach a height of 530, 540, and it's dropped. I mean, the market's just not there. Understood. Okay. Nikki, you get both of them? So one wanted to take them off and had damage. The other one wanted to force the buyer to assume the solar panels. They didn't want to go through all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like one of them was like, it was like two different contracts. So it's like one for 10 of them and another one for 12 of them. And they had just signed that contract like maybe a month beforehand. It's like, well, if you're going to sell your house, then why would you enter another contract?
It kills me. I don't know why people put solar panels on. I mean, it's all new anyway. So if you're selling houses and they've got them, they probably haven't had them on very long. But the thinking is, why saddle your house with this massive cost when you're trying to sell? I mean, there's no way to cleanly get out of this, and you're not going to gain the benefit of the electricity savings by paying it off at sale, because you're going to have to absorb the cost of all of it and the buyer gains the benefit, and they're not going to want to pay for them. Good.
Well,
Anything
and
else?
the other issue was that my buyer didn't know the company that had put them on. He didn't know them from Adam. He didn't know what kind of company it was. He didn't know how reputable they were. So that was another issue. Is he didn't really care about the solar panels, to have them, not to have them. He didn't really care, but he was just like, well, what if this company is crap and then I have to deal with them for the next 20 years?
So this is the other side. Keenan, again, is willing to read these contracts for you and give educated information on the pros and cons. And he might even offer solutions on how to make it a better opportunity for either side. So no cost to you. Keenan's open to doing it. That was one of the things he talked about, kind of an audit. So if he can read it, have the intelligent conversation with your buyer, give them the peace of mind, that would be a win and an extra tool in your toolbox to kind of deal with those things. Because he deals with bad contracts all the time, and he knows when they're bad, and he knows when the companies may not be good companies, but there's ways we can overcome some of this, and he has some ways to do that. Very good. Anyone else have quick feedback or anything that's come up? All right, you guys have, we have inventory shortages, as we know, and we have problems. So right now we're in a market where buyers and sellers have to have a lot of motivation to do things, right? To move forward, either to buy or sell. They're waiting for perfect storm, they're waiting for economy, they're waiting for election. Everyone's waiting on something. And the only ones selling are ones that absolute desperate or they forced to sell and they don't have a choice. I feel like that's dealing with a lot of the transactions I've done recently. You know, I had one guy, he owned 2 houses and he had to get out of this one. And I had the one I'm doing right now, North Richland Hills. The mom's sick in Wichita Falls and their kids are moving to Oklahoma City and there's no reason for them to be here anymore. And right now is the time for them to make that transition. You know, everyone's got some type of really high motivating factor that's making them make that move. I know Tara's got a buyer that wants to sell and buy, and she's ready to make that transition. Are you getting any activity, Tara, with the price drop?
Not at all.
Yeah. Well, Tara's kind of in a unique position. She has like the only house for sale in the entire city. Never seen that before. So not a whole lot of other homes bringing traffic. The good news, Tara, is you got the summer coming, right? And people are going to have to move because that's when they move for schools and things like that. I hope that turns things around for you guys. So anyway, my thought was on the buy side, we can also find opportunities. If you have buyers, if the right home came along, which I've got a handful of them right now, if the right home came along, they would buy. And I'm not finding it on the MLS. So I did this exercise during COVID when we had no inventory. Now we have limited inventory now, and we have buyers that are extremely picky or looking for perfection in order for them to move. So I came up with a list of places we could go that were not MLS. Can any of you think of a place we could go to find a house that's not MLS?
I mean, there's lots of places like Zillow,
Well,
Realtor.
Zillow posts from MLS, but there is other options on Zillow. Go ahead.
There's Realtor.
That's still MLS driven. Realtor is exclusively MLS driven.
Oh, just kidding.
Oh, no, but Zillow's a good one. They used to have a make me move option. Do y'all remember that? They used to have a make me move. I know Joey remembers. I know some of you remember where you could actually go on there and find non-listed houses. They're kind of like for sale by owners, but they're basically like, if I got this price, I'm gone. And they would just post a price that was high, right? But maybe they attract the right buyer that wants that house and they'll pay some premium for it. So they had to make me move off. They've since removed all that. They've removed, they have FSBO still. So Zillow for FSBO is still an option. Keep going, Nikki. You're good.
And then on the new construction side, there's new home source. You could go to the builder's direct websites. So there, I mean, there's tons of them. I mean, Google's your friend.
Yeah, new homes is a really good option for you guys. I've been pointing you guys to new homes for a while. We have something called Builder Boost that was in Austin and in Dallas. I don't know if it's in Houston, but if they are, really good resource for real estate agents to find all those missing minor builders you don't think about. Builder Boost. And you can even enter in your buyer. I've done this, by the way. I had a buyer that would be moving if she found the right house at the right rate and term. And unfortunately, rate and term is a real problem because she's paying like in the 3s, but she would be willing to move. So I used Builder Boost to say, hey, what can you find me in this price range near this location? And they sent me 3 communities. So that was a good option that I was able to use Builder Boost to help me with that. But New Home Source Professional, I use that regularly on finding opportunities outside of Dallas-Fort Worth. I know I've mentioned that to you guys before. Any other things come to mind, Nikki?
On the foreclosure side, you have like auction.com, you have off-market listings. There's a lot of websites for auctions.
Is offmarketlistings.com, is that a website?
Let me look, because I get texted all the time. It's more for like investment properties. Oh, there's like Investor Lift. I think I'm thinking of Investor Lift. Yeah, the off market is Investor Lift. But there's like also like Net Worth. I know that's a wholesaler.
Yep. Houston, they're
so-
big in Dallas too. They're big both.
Yeah. So you can also check like the counties, the specific counties for foreclosures or auctions.
I'm good with auctions if our buyer is comfortable with work and they have a lot of cash. Because I'm not going to go put them, and they've really off market auction. Most of these you have to pay cash to close. I mean, I don't have time to secure a loan, so we're going to be primarily paying cash. We're trying to get in the off market business, which is fine. I mean, that's where, I live and breathe. But most of my retail buyers, that's not a comfort spot for them.
Well, and with the foreclosures, like the counties, they go like the first Tuesday of the month or whatever, and most of them are cash, and it does say that cash, no financing, just cash.
Good comments. Have any of you ever been on? Anyone else have a comment? I want to get ahead of y'all. Y'all have any other websites? Nikki named a bunch of different options. All right, I've got a couple of them for you guys to also consider. They used to have pocket listings. They went away with that because it was a direct competitor with MLS. And I think they probably had some reason to say pocket listings have kind of gone away. So that's where you would, instead of posting the MLS, you have a seller that didn't want to post. They might have the agent use that site. Marketplace and Facebook. Might not be bad to post some houses that aren't moving for you guys out there. We've got Tara, have you tried posting on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or any of these
Yes, both.
You've done both? Okay.
Yeah.
So as a buyer for me, I may be not looking on MLS to find that one property you have in that city, but I'm glad you're at least posting there as well. That's a place you could dig, right? So I've got Louisville, Garland, some Dallas stuff, right here on Facebook Marketplace. That came up pretty quick. Craigslist, that's another place that we can post our listings, and it actually helps you in KV Core. You can take any listing and throw it on Craigslist. Now you need permission. We can't just throw everybody's listing on there. You guys are welcome to post my stuff that I get. Anything y'all want to do to market my properties, I don't have a problem with. I want you guys to create opportunities. I'd love for you guys to be the buyer agents. How about good old FSBO? FSBO is definitely a different marketplace. It's looking for a certain type of buyer, and that's fine. The sellers typically aren't directly open to paying commission, but if they need to sell and they're motivated, they will. You have to have that conversation with them. The prices they're posting, they're assuming there's no commission. My argument back is always, well, you're using market price that includes commission. If I brought you an acceptable offer, would you pay it? Right? I mean, that's the question. If I brought you an acceptable offer, would you pay the commission? So opportunity there. They're not paying the sell side anyway. So hopefully they can help take care of the buy side. Zenlist is that new database that is growing right now with EXP. And that's another place that we can go and kind of dig. They are allowed to post things on that's not posted in MLS. But right now, MLS is allowing us to do basically every time I list one, it's getting promoted into Zenlist. There's another website that's really for networking of agents. I just forgot the name of it. I had someone actually call me out of the blue about that website because I'm pretty prominent on it. I'll have to look it up, but it's basically a network website for agents. It's the opportunity for us to connect with other agents through a social media platform that's not Facebook, that's not Workplace, non-EXP, any type of agent. And a lot of them are trying to help each other sell each other's listings. So that's another place you can go to. I'll look up the name and I'll get it posted in my list here, my notes. And then you can go to Workplace. You guys ever been to Workplace and post buyer needs or listing needs? You know, Tara, that might be another place you can post. Very obscure. Find a county or an area that's there. Same thing with Shane. He's got a very obscure little property that he needs to move. You know, Workplace could be an option too. I tell you, I had a call out of the blue. It's been now probably 3 months ago, and they had a trust. They owned several properties in different states, and the owners of the trust, because the dad had passed away and the trust was still in existence, owned these properties. They called me and said, "Hey, it looks like you sold this lot to my dad, you know, a long time ago, back in 1998, and the company that sold it to him, the company was called TruWest. Okay, the actual company that had the development that said everything was called TruWest, and they're not running that area anymore because where the land is located is probably maybe 2 miles, a mile and a half from the border." And probably not a real hot area to buy even a 20-acre lot that close to the border when you don't know if you're going to be alive in the morning because you don't know who's coming over, right? I mean, it's a pretty interesting place. So they kind of pulled out of that whole space, but they still own the lot. And I thought about, you know, trying to promote it and stuff, but it's like worth nothing. Nobody wants to own 20 acres and be responsible and liable and pay taxes on a piece of property. You know, and the other solution is we build a wall, right? But if you build the wall, you're going to build it on our side, and it's right off the Rio Grande. And the whole point of being out there is to be off the Rio Grande. If you build a wall, you can't access it anymore. So it's really kind of a lose situation. So the land's worth just about nothing. So my advice back to them is I can do a transaction for them, put them with title, facilitate moving it from the trust to an heir, and we try to do it for zero because it's not worth anything. So speaking of obscure land, you know, I got an opportunity to list something that was worth nothing. So side story. Anyway, that all exercise didn't work out. I'll tell you that. Well, I'll give you one more tip. Well, besides coming soon in MLS, you guys should be digging in there, right? There's a reason they have coming soon. I went on there actually. I'll show you. I just typed in the coming soon feature, and there were 662, let's say 500 just in the MLS because it's pulling outside of it, just in Dallas Fort Worth. There's a lot. These are all coming soon. That's a lot of property. So coming soon could be an opportunity for you guys to try to get ahead of the market and try to, you know, sneak in there. You know, they won't allow you to show it until it's active, but there certainly could be a compelling reason if you make an argument for the listing agent to say, fine, make it active tomorrow will be the first showing. You know, that's me. I'm aggressive. I would try to make that argument with the listing agent to see if we can't move us forward a little bit. And the last tip is if you've got a specific neighborhood or area that your buyers got to buy in, call the top sellers, listing agents in that space. And I'm telling you, I did it and it worked. I had that Robeson Ranch area. There's like 3 agents controlling all of it. And the space up here, there's like 3 agents controlling all the sales in there. And we lost like 2 houses in a row. And I look like, what are you doing? Why can't you win me a house? So I said, okay, if I can't beat them because they're selling them to each other, then I'm gonna try to join their sport. So what I did is I connected with all of them and I got them to start texting me opportunities that were coming up before they went live. And we went and looked at 2 of them, and one of them we were able to secure and win. So that's another, it takes more work, you know, but if I've got a buyer ready to go, let's go solve their real estate problem, right? That's a big part of how we can be successful in this. Any questions on how to find some of these properties that are not on the MLS to create other solutions for our buyers and get them hooked up with an opportunity? All right. Only thing I got left is listings, opportunities, questions. What else do we have? We have any other listings or buyer issues or anything else you guys want to discuss before we jump off? All right.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Couple of Zillow leads have been coming in on 2 different properties, one in, I think, Euless and one in Copper Canyon for bids. Is all bids cash? I mean, is there like, they're searching for 100 or 200,000 and they come up, and so that's a common lead right now. I'm getting, several of them. How's the best way to address it?
It's funny. Fred said that should have been my topic today. So I'll give Fred some props on that, is the auctions. I think he might have heard you mention or something. That is something that is going to come up, now that we have the opportunity to create bidding wars and things like that. My best advice is every case is different, but I would try to get a realistic expectation of what the process is going to look like. If you know it's going to require cash, then we need to let the buyer know that. If we know that it's going to be as is, we need to let the buyer know that. 95% of people looking at those bid sites that are interested have no business being on that bid site. Okay. There's a small market of people that could qualify and can move forward with the transaction that can meet those expectations. Some of them allow for financing. Some of them allow for, 30-day closings. But most of them we're posting on this site for a reason. We're trying to cut all the strings of conditions and we want to move it cleanly. If we accept yours, then the whole auction buildup is gone. You have to close it. So there's a whole lot of pressure on making sure you fulfill that obligation without any conditions. So this is all expectations you set with the buyer when you're having that conversation. It's almost like we got to do case by case. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, do they typically, I guess because they're Zillow buyers, they want to go see before, they tell you they've got the money, they want to go see.
My thing here, it's just the same thing, right? I mean, I look at it and say, great, man, let's schedule a time to go look at it. We got to cover a few things before we do. And then that's when I go through those expectations. And they may want to just say, yes, 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 I don't care. I want to look at it. But we need to realistically say, if it's listed for 200 and it's probably going to go for 300 to 400, we need to make sure they know that.
Right.
Like realistically, I know you think you're going to get this grand slam deal. Even if you got the 200,000 cash, it's probably going to go for 300. They only want to list it low because they're trying to create that energy. You're going to be one of 1,000 people looking at it. You still want to move forward and take that chance. Great. Let's set up a 1 buyer rep agreement showing. Do we have a form? I keep hearing on the national call, they have a form at some of the other states. You can do a 1 showing buyer rep agreement. Have you all ever heard that before?
Not yet, but probably will.
It's worth it, right? I mean, it makes it worth it. You'll give them your undivided attention. I'll do whatever I can to win that house and win your business. You know what I'm talking about, Nikki?
Yeah, I've done that before.
So do you do a whole buyer rep and just say for 1 showing? Is that how you write it up?
I put it in the market areas. I specifically list the address.
I know it's a lot of extra little work here, but it's if you want to honor and respect your own time, then get them to commit their time and their energy as well. Then that might be a good solution to kind of cover that. So have something pre-written ready to go and it's easy to send. Mom, you just closed a transaction with the SkySlope TC system, correct?
Yes.
Was it the lease?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, did they
really all she done was upload the documents, but she did reach out. She gave me her cell number. I have a text number, and I think it's going to work well.
Yeah. So you like it so far? You just did it on a pretty easy deal.
Yeah, she hadn't really done anything except upload documents.
Good. I'm going to keep getting feedback because we're no longer working with the other company. I want to make sure we have a good backup option. Well, very good. I don't have anything else. I still have North Russian Hills. At a second showing today. Sounds like they're pretty interested. So we'll see what that happens. If y'all guys have anything else y'all want to post or promote, you've got Workplace to do that. I will put the link for my video on solar panels. I'll put that on Workplace. And on Thursday, I am doing an interview with Tony King. He was they call him basically the broker for all of Texas, right? I forget the designated managing broker, MBR. He was the designated managing broker for Texas. He did that for about 2 years, year and a half, 2 years. He went from 6,000 to almost 10,000 agents, and now he is director of growth. He's had 2 promotions since then. I'm going to do an interview with him. His boss is Michael Valdez, who is over international, setting up EXP in other countries. He's, I think, taken us from like 10 to 20, 25 countries. I mean, he has exploded it. Michael Valdez is moving here to Dallas-Fort Worth, and Tony is reporting to Michael. Michael obviously reports directly to Glenn. And I'm looking at setting up podcasts for them going forward monthly. So we're going to see where that goes. I've lined them up an opportunity. I want to see if that's going to turn into anything. So some pretty cool, exciting things. I will be at the Thursday meeting in Colleyville. And I will try to do the one in Plano, if not the next week and 2 weeks after. So I'd like to come visit that one too. You guys had a big crowd out there. So very cool. Y'all know where I'm at. And that's all I've got. So have a high performance week, and I'll see you next week.